Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tidus Talk, Episode 8. With me today is special guest Johnblah99.
Hello.
How are you doing today, John?
What am I doing
I
today?
said, how you doing?
Oh, how am I doing? Oh, they said, what am I doing? I'm excited. I'm super excited because I'm freaking about to see my man Taffy. So I'm super excited.
Oh, that's
Me
right.
and him about to hang out and
Taffy's headed your way right now.
yeah, about to show him what real Philadelphia food is, because he's never had a real cheesesteak.
Ah,
I mean, actually, let me rephrase that. He's had a cheesesteak, but unfortunately, the only one he's ever had was from Pat's or Geno's. So I need to fix that.
gotcha. For everybody new to the podcast, welcome. I'm your host, Tidus Shaw, and again with me is special guest Johnblah99, fellow
Yeah.
streamer. I met John. I forget the specifics of if it was Taff who sent me your way, or or maybe it was just within somebody's chat. But it was a couple months ago now, and John's become
Yeah.
a very supportive and big part of the community. We love John. He can be on the recruiter side, but that's just part of his personality.
Yeah.
All right, so John, tell us about yourself.
Um, Not too much to say. I'm John, as everybody else here knows. I've been on Twitch for since April, so that's what, 4 months now? At least streaming wise. I've been watching Twitch for like the last like 2 or 3 years now. But I just started streaming probably like a couple months ago. And I stream from everything from multiplayer games like Overwatch and Apex and Realm and Brawlhalla and all that jazz to single player stuff. I just finished Detroit, and I finished. What else did I finish? I finished. I'm starting Dying Light actually, and I finished the South Park game, The Stick of Truth.
Nice.
So I did a 30-hour stream. What was that? Like maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe. Did both of those. Yeah, I know. I was only gonna do 24 hours, and I didn't get tired, so I kept going till I had to go to sleep for work the next day. So I didn't get done until I think maybe 1 or 1:30 in the morning.
Oof.
And I started like Saturday. Yeah, I started like Saturday at like 7 or like 6 p.m. And it went into the next day, and I wasn't tired. And if I didn't have work, probably that same day, I probably would have went for, I don't know, maybe a couple more hours, another 6 more hours, probably. It seems possible. So almost 2 days of constant streaming probably would have happened.
I don't know how you guys do it. Not only just the time, but the energy. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, for chat, anybody who's here, welcome. And if you have any questions for us as we go along or comments, if we find it relevant,
Sure.
we'll read you out in the chat and answer them on the podcast. So,
Yeah.
John, probably a little easier for you. How did you decide on your Twitch name?
I don't even remember actually. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, and what's more funny is 99. That's not even my birth year. It's 98. It's my birth year. So I don't know why I didn't just go with 98 and I went with 99. I don't even think 98 was taken either. I think I just went with 99 because that's like, I guess like a go-to number, whatever. Like, like when you can't like for you, like if somebody took Tidus shot, right? Like I probably would just put like a 9 or a 99 at the end of it, just because it would, like, I don't know, it'd be simple. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't remember where that name came from. I've had it since I've had Twitch, and like I said, that's a couple years ago, and I should have wrote down why I made the name.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. Our technical difficulties have been fixed. There shouldn't be an echo anymore. I'm sorry about the echo at the beginning. So we were at so your Twitch name. How did you obviously your name
Yeah.
is John, so that's where it came from. So you don't remember
Yeah.
where the Blah99 came from?
Yeah, I don't know where the I think that was just me like trying to figure out like something to like put as my like as an extra piece for like my name. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where that came from at all either.
All right.
Like even my my other usernames and like any other social media thing, it doesn't even have blah in it. It has my just J and then my last name. So I could have just went with that too, but for some reason I don't know why I didn't just stick with the regular like.
You always
my
have the
name
chance
there.
to change it if you need.
Yeah, that too. That's true too.
All right. So, how long have you been gaming? Is it an all your life thing? Is it recent?
Um, yeah, I'd say like all my life. I started from what did I start? I started with Leapfrog stuff. If you remember, like the Leapfrog console or whatever, it was
Yeah.
like an educational like console or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I started with that, and then um, I went from there. I had my brothers had an N64 that I'd play every once in a while, and then I really started with like handheld stuff, so like Game Boys and a Game Boys and like the original D. I wish I still have my original DS. I got smashed. Um, and then I went to a PS2, and then I had a Wii after that, and then I had my PS3 that I've had for God almost 8 years now, and then I just got a PS4 now, and I'm slowly but surely working on getting my laptop that I have set up. So hopefully I can do some games on there too, eventually.
Nice. Uh,
Actually, yeah, I did. I think the first legitimate game that I ever played was I think it was Roller Coaster Tycoon. Was probably the first legitimate game that I played.
like period.
I want to say. I think so. Yeah, like I was like I had like leapfrogs of like education about even like any like non-educational game. I think was Roller Coaster Tycoon, the original one.
Gotcha. Sora Master of Master says, "Oh snap, John, you fine."
I know I am, aren't I? Yeah.
All right. Next on the list, favorite games, genres, and consoles. So, what are some of your favorite games? Your genre of games, consoles.
So I would say my favorite genre in general would easily be at least zombie genres in general. The first real series of games that I really got into was probably Resident Evil. Um, I started off with three, I think. No, I started off with four, and then I ended up working my way back from four back to one, and then I went back up to five, six, and then Raccoon City, which was six and Raccoon City are the worst of those of that whole series. They're the absolute worst. They suck so much ass. I swear. Seven was fantastic. They went back to what they were originally about, and they made it so much better.
Absolutely.
And then I played the shit out of the remastered version of two. That was a so great of an upgrade. The Resident Evil 2 remake. That was the first playthrough I did on Twitch and completed.
Nice. I haven't got a chance to play it yet.
Oh really? I would suggest it then. I'd suggest it. Yeah, I would say so. I think they're trying to remaster 4, which would be a fantastic idea considering overall consensus of Resident Evil is 4 is the best one that was made. Overall consensus. I mean, like, some people will say like 2 was the best, and then some people will say that 7 was the best. But like, usually the people that'll say 7 is the best. No offense, but like, I don't think they really played the first to the fourth.
Yeah, the
they
older
just kind of
games.
started at 7. Yeah, they kind of started at 7, and then they started from there, and they went to 2, and they didn't like actually like work their way back instead of working the way up. So they kind of, not to say they don't know what they're talking about, but if you haven't played 4, then then you can say 7 is the best, but until you played 4, then then you're kind of not in Schitt's Creek, but you're kind of out of the water.
I'm more of an old school person where 7. I do enjoy 7 and 4, very good games, but 2,
Oh, yeah.
2 and Code Veronica are my favorites.
Yeah. And then
Consoles.
console-wise, I've always been a Sony person. I have a PS2 next to me, a PS3, and my PS4. I'm trying to find an original PS1, not the mini, not the fucking mini piece of shit. Okay, that's not right. Okay.
I have
I'm
one
trying
in
to
my
find
closet.
the actual. Oh, you have one of the minis in the closet?
No. I have an original.
Oh, an original. Okay, I was about to be. I have a mini. What's wrong with you,
No,
Tidus?
I don't. No, don't you put that on me.
No, you sound so offended. You're like offended. Like, you would dare think I would do that?
All right.
So I'm trying to find that and then have it set up so that way, if it's from left to right, it goes from a 1 to a 4, and then I'm definitely gonna get myself a PS5 whenever they release that, or if they name it something else, then I'm gonna end up getting
I'd
that.
be surprised if they go away from PS5, but
Yeah.
All right. What are some of your fondest gaming memories?
Um. Oh boy, that's a great question.
I know.
Um. I don't know. Um. Well, I think when the original DS came out, or even probably people with Game Boys did this, when like as a kid you were told to go to sleep, you didn't feel like going to sleep, so you put your DS under your pillow or your Game Boy under your pillow, and then you just stayed up for as long as you wanted to, and then that was the easiest way to stay up without getting caught. I used to I used to try to be really slick, and I would still play on my PS2, but the way I had my bed positioned, I still have my bed positioned like this now, where I'll have my TV at the edge of my bed, and I'll have my remote right next to me. So if I heard like my mom get up, I would quickly turn off my TV, just the TV, because she didn't know what the actual sound of a PS2 sounds like. Because you could tell what a PS2 sounds like if
Oh
you heard
yeah.
it. If you heard it after a while, you know exactly what it sounds like when it's on. She never got that, so she just always looked for light, or if I was awake, or if I was like tense. So I would just put my hand up to the TV because I had a box TV. So the power button's right at the edge of the TV. So all I had to do is just lay down, put my hand up on my drawer like this, and then just press a button. And then I would put my arm back down and act like I was asleep. And then I'd wait for her to go back to bed, and then I'd go back to turning on again. So they went from $100 to 40 within a month, and people still refuse to buy them.
She's
Well,
talking
yeah,
about
because it's not.
the PlayStation Classic, not the
Yeah.
not the small PS1.
Oh, okay.
Because you were referring to
I
the
didn't-
PS1, right? The original PlayStation, but the smaller version.
Yeah, and like the one they came out with, like I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that. They tried to get a cash grab, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Terrible.
All right. So
I hated it.
what drew you to streaming, and how long have you been doing it?
So I've been streaming since April. Well, my official date is the 27th of March. I don't really count that I started in March. That's like that'd be like, oh man, I ate whole pizza, but you only had the crust. You didn't have any of that pizza. You just had the crust. That's not how it works. So I realistically say I started in April. So I'm on 4 months now. I think that is almost. This is a hair comb, by the way, if you're wondering what this is.
Yeah, just over 4 months.
It's about just over 4 months, and I had thought about streaming for a while. I just didn't have the equipment to do it, and I forgot that the PS4 can do that, and it can stream directly to Twitch.
Right.
And I forgot about that. I had my PS4 for a couple months, and I didn't really do it. And then people like you, Tidus, and Taffy, and Mart. I had met you before I started streaming, because I think I had met you in either Mart's stream, and I think from Mart I got to Taffy, and from Taffy I think I got to you, because I think Taffy rated you with something,
Okay.
and I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was Jackbox though, because then
No. Taffy didn't start doing Jackbox till he no longer worked where he's working.
yeah. I was gonna say, because then if I started with Jackbox, that'd have been a fantastic way to introduce myself. Yeah, I'd say probably Mart is probably where I saw you first, or at least I saw you in chat. But then I don't think I started talking to you until I met Tav,
Yeah.
and then I started showing up in your stream some more. What made me start to stream? What made me who kind of made me want to stream? Like nobody in particular. I was always that person though that as far as I know, of in streams, I'd always be the person that would clip stuff. I have clips that are from 3 years ago that I never got rid of, that I forgot I had. So I always clip them, and I'd always send them out to streamers and stuff. I always did a lot of bigger streamers, because at that time I was still heavily watching YouTube. I don't watch YouTube as much now, but since I kind of fell into Twitch has kind of taken over that YouTube area. Yeah, I probably say the first person I really watched was probably Uber Nova was probably the first person I watched on Twitch, I would say. And then yeah, I kind of just went from there. And now I'm here.
All right. So what do you like best about streaming?
Um, it's convenient.
It's convenient.
Yeah,
How's
convenient, cause it's like I don't have to do too much. Like with the PS4, you don't have to do too much. You just gotta press a button and have a microphone. Or if you don't feel like having a microphone, then you just don't need one. And then you just like put in a couple settings, and then you're good. I don't have like all this like crazy equipment. I didn't want to have crazy equipment when
I
I
was about to say,
started.
wait until if you ever decide to do it on PC. Gets a little bit more complicated there.
It does, yeah, because you have stuff like OBS. Apparently, Twitch, I guess like semi gaming news, whatever. But Twitch has released
Like, yeah, they're
a
baiting.
beta,
Yeah,
yeah, a
their own
beta for their
version.
recording stuff. Yeah. So I guess people are probably gonna try that out and see if it's terrible or if it's good. Which, by the way, Twitch, would you please bloody look at these people's emotes? Holy crap! People have been waiting for like 2 weeks for like emotes for them just to even look at it, not even approve it or deny it, but just to look at it.
It's true.
Oh my god!
It's been taking a week and a half to 2 weeks for most people recently.
Yeah, and what like my first set of emotes, they got done within like 2 days. My sub badges immediately went through. They didn't even go through a process. They just immediately went through. What is this? And the one emote that I have, I figured should automatically get passed since they passed it originally. So I don't see why it wouldn't take so long to like. Ah, God, Twitch. But what was the original question? I done forgot.
What do you like best about streaming?
Oh. I did originally forget what the other question was. What I would like, because I said convenience, because I only did a couple buttons, but yeah, because I didn't want to get a PC, because then I felt like if I bought one and then I stopped streaming like a month in, that was a waste of time.
Right.
So a waste of money, and I didn't want to do that. So, but a lot of people say the community, but like a lot of it for me is just talking in general, like just being able to like even if you're talking to nobody, still like talking and just putting your shit out in the open. And I know for me, I don't really care too much. I'm just gonna say what I feel like saying, and if you don't like it, you can kindly, you can very kindly fuck off. But because I really don't have boundaries in my chat, and I don't really have boundaries in exactly with what I say, and I think people enjoy that I don't really care too much about what I say, and that, I think they expect me at some point to cut myself off at some point, but I don't really cut myself off. I just kind of keep going. Like I don't want to have to change for TOS standards or anything like that. Like if for some odd reason I get bigger, I might have to tweak some things here and there, but other than that, I would prefer if I just stayed how I am now
Right.
and not have to worry about, putting a persona. And that was like one of the things that I didn't want to do was have a persona, because I feel like people like Dr. Disrespect, like they have to have that persona all the time. They can't relax from it, because if they do, they're not going to get the same amount of attention as they did before, and they're not going to get the same support, which means that if they want to stop doing their gimmick or their persona, they kind of feel like they can't, because if they do, then it's not going to work out, and then they're going to get set back, and then it's just a ripple effect of negative stuff. And like I wasn't going to be about that. You could say technically I have one, considering I don't have a camera usually. Like for a lot of people, this is probably the first time they're actually seeing like myself in general.
Well, I saw that picture with
didn't-
8 apple slices in your mouth the other day.
Yeah, I have a huge mouth, so if anybody wants to try to challenge me at Chubby Bunny, just know that you're gonna lose hard, because I have cheeks that expand like a fucking squirrel. If you remember, Hubba Bubba had a gum that was sticks, but it came in a roll,
Okay, yeah.
and it was like a pink thing, and I used to stick the whole thing in my mouth
Oh.
with no problem. I would bite it in half, chew it up some to make it like a gummy consistency, and then stick the other half in the other side of my mouth, and then just slowly but surely form it into one giant ball. And then either I would play baseball with it, or I would just
Too much
honestly I would
gum.
do that in general.
Too much gum.
Yeah, And this is when I was like, I'm 21 now. This is when I was like 10, 9, like 10 or 11. My cheeks were that big at like 10 and 11 where they would expand that much. And then to make matters worse, if I had sunflower seeds, I would stick the sunflower seeds in my other cheek. So my cheeks looked like I had two big looking like tumors or like two big looking cheek like chipmunk cheeks like just going on, and I never choked. Not once did I ever choke, which is really surprising. And I would do that so much. I'm surprised my jaw has not gotten lockjaw or something terrible like that, because I should have a long time ago from how often I would do that. It's so bad, man.
All right. Well,
So bad.
switching off of games, what are some of your interests and hobbies outside of gaming?
Interests and hobbies. I mean, I wouldn't even say outside of like gaming in general, but like gaming is like my main hobby. Like I do music stuff. Like I do play drums every once in a while, and I mean, I kind of can sing, kind of can't. I can hold a note. Let's put it that way. I'm not all over the place like a wave. I can at least like hold a consistent straight line note. Like I say, I do play drums. If you've noticed, most of the time I'm doing stuff like with my comb as like a drumstick in my hand or stuff like that. Or I'm usually I was that person in school that would tap on my legs a lot with a pen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tap it on the desk. I found that highly annoying. So I'd tap on my legs a lot, or like, move my legs a lot with like the restless leg syndrome, and you stand on your toe and you jiggle your leg up and down as fast as you can most of the time. Will be like you, Tidus, freaking voice impressions I guess that's technically a hobby of mine. I'll do those a lot on stream too, where I'll just, if I get bored, I'll just start talking as like a character from like a TV show or like cartoon or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who's on my shirt that I can? I have a Nickelodeon like long sleeve one of like all the old school shows of like Hey Arnold, Ren and Stimpy, like the Rugrats and the Wild Thornberries and stuff. It's a nice shirt actually. I'm actually really happy I got the shirt. It's got Reptar in it too. Whee! What else would be a hobby of mine that I do? So technically, a hobby of mine is my job, like working on cars and stuff. I didn't want it to become my job, but it just kind of happened. I'm not too terribly upset about it because it was a hobby of mine. So like, I don't mind making my hobby my job, which
Right.
technically streaming is a hobby. Excuse me. I think in general that's kind of about it wise in terms of like hobbies. I can't think of any more that like off the top of my head that I do.
Okay.
Oh no, actually no, that's a lie. I do write stories occasionally, and I will like I'm still working on a story of mine that I've been working on for like the last since I started college, so it's about 3 years now. I'm at, how many pages am I at? I'm at like 220 pages or something like that, and I'm almost
wow.
done. So yeah, I know. It's taken me 3 years to write that much. And what's worse is I still have to go back and edit it because I write these stories at like, I don't know, I write this story at like 1 or 2 in the morning when I'm like tired and loopy. So there's so many misspellings and misword play and non-corrective sentences in there that I have to fix. So that 220 is probably gonna go back down to like 160, 170, probably.
All right. So that all that being said, thanks for answering the questions, John. Where can everybody find you?
Everybody can find me here on Twitch, Johnblah99, all lowercase. You can find me on Instagram at TheJMartinez, all lowercase. You can find me on Twitter, TheJMartinez, I think it's 1, all lowercase. That's about it, yeah.
Cool. All right. That'll take us out of our first section, and we will be moving on to.
I thought you were ending. I was like, oh my goodness.
No, wrong one. All right. What are you playing now? You mentioned a little bit earlier that you just started a game.
Yeah, so I'm replaying Dying Light for stream. I'm gonna get South Park: The Fractured Butthole. So I usually for stream I like to try to stream 2 like walkthroughs at once to keep myself busy, and then like I'll play like Apex with like community people. I'll play Brawl a lot more with community people because that's a lot less a lot less fuckery goes on with Brawlhalla. That's basically Brawlhalla is basically the PS version of Smash.
Right.
Is basically what it is. I still play MLB constantly. That never stops. I do have Overwatch. In my free time, I will occasionally play Far Cry 5. I think I'm about halfway through that game. That might be a game where I stream, but I'm not entirely sure because it'll hold my attention for like a half hour to an hour, and then like I'm kind of like after that. So I don't want to stream for like an hour on a game and then switch to another game.
Right. All right. So that's so you're playing the Dying Light and the. Well, I already forgot what you had just said.
I'm gonna start South Park: The Fractured
Park.
Butthole in a little bit.
Yeah, that was a good one. I prefer the first one, but I did enjoy Fractured.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
See, watching both of them, I liked the second one more than the first. Watching them.
The second one's more straightforward. They changed the battle system too.
They did, yeah.
And I prefer the battle system from the first one, which is part of what it is.
Yeah.
I feel the first one is a more complete RPG, where the second one is still great. It's just it lost some of its what made it special in the first one, in my opinion.
Right.
But you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm just playing through right now Shadow of the Colossus. I probably only have 2 streams of that left. And then still shiny grinding in Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot has changed there.
You'll be doing that for a while.
Hopefully not too much longer, knock on wood. I want to get it done before Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out October 31st.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that gives me a deadline of roughly 2 months.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see how that goes, though. All right. So next is the topic of your choice, which was sequels. So what specifically about sequels did you want to talk about?
So, like in general, like you'll see, like you'll have played a game, and you're like, oh man, whenever they make a sequel, it's gonna be, it's gonna be so fucking good. It's gonna blow everybody's minds out. Everybody's gonna be jizzing everywhere, all over about it, and then it never gets made. Either because the company died, or the company fell off, or if they did make a sequel, the company got lazy and didn't do it properly, and it didn't necessarily hold up to your standards, and it didn't fulfill anybody's needs, and then the franchise ended up dying because of a dumb decision.
So what comes to mind for you then?
So, for me personally, I had seen it earlier. Pokemon Snap was a good one that I feel like could get a sequel. That should get a sequel, but I don't know if they'll do it per se. So if you don't know what Pokemon Snap is, that's where you're like a photographer and you're trying to take pictures of all the Pokemon and stuff, and you got to do like random stuff like here and there through like a little roller coaster looking thing, and you can, throw food at a Pokemon to get good pictures. You can knock stuff down to get like a Moltres to come out. Like, I feel like with today's amount of Pokemon, that would actually be a much more expansive game than what it was back then.
I agree.
Because they didn't even have all the Pokemon back then. They had like 40 Pokemon, 50, something like that.
No, they didn't even have all the first 150.
Yeah.
But
so I feel like they could expand that now. Like, could you imagine like playing that with like Switch or like a VR?
I was about to say the Switch is actually pretty perfect for it, and even if they don't want to do it on Switch, mobile is so easy where they could do that with if they wanted to. I mean, not that I want it on mobile, but it's like it's such an obvious idea. I don't know what's holding them back.
I don't either, and I think not enough people are probably pushing for it because I think they just kind of forgot about Pokemon Snap. And same thing with like Pokemon Stadium. Like, those two in general, like, they were the absolute catalyst for the 64. Like, they designed a whole 64 just for those two games, and they haven't been seen since. There's been like hints at like, not remakes, but like over the years there have been hints at like games that were similar to it, but it didn't have that feel because it didn't connect very well. And then at least for me, like on a personal level, like Roller Coaster Tycoon never.
That's got a million sequels.
Yeah, but they were terrible. Like, the second Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 was the best game that they made, and then the third one was okay. Tycoon World was garbage, and it's been taken over by stuff like Parkitect and there's another game, Planet Coaster, and all these other games, and it's like that's the OG of the roller coaster, in general simulation, and it completely died after the original guy who made all the roller coaster tycoons. He left. He up and left after the second game was made because he designed the whole game by himself. He went through every single thing by himself, and he created a fantastic game that I still play today. And Atari fucked it up, and Atari's been dead for God knows how long now. There was a game that I mentioned earlier off stream that I can't remember what it was that should have gotten a sequel, and they got a remake, but that's not a sequel. I don't count remakes as a sequel. Remakes are not a sequel. You're stupid if you think that they're a sequel. And it was what was it? It was no, not the World of Goo. That's terrible.
The Blob?
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh.
Yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day. They were that, like, with the big poo monster and all that jazz, and it's like it never got the proper sequel at all.
That's a game you
Excuse
never
me,
expected to see on Nintendo.
Yeah, right? And it surprised everybody, but yet it was a good surprise. Because people that did play it enjoyed it because it was funny. It was nice and lewd, and it was funny, and everybody was like, this is it was definitely a different change of pace from going from that to, Pokemon stuff, Mario stuff, and Donkey Kong, yeah. Even at that, I feel like Donkey Kong didn't have, like, its shine in general, if that makes any sense. It's not that the sequels were bad, it's more so that
Which Donkey Kong
they
are
didn't
you
get
referring
noticed
to?
very well. Yeah.
Which Donkey Kong are you referring to?
Like, I feel like everybody, like, when they think of Donkey Kong, like, they automatically think of, like, Donkey Kong Country. But that's about it. Like, there was a second one, yeah. But, like, people forget that he had his own, I think he had his own, like little racing kart game.
Yeah,
People
Diddy
forget
Kong
about that.
Racing.
Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing. Like, I don't know, I feel like people don't really, like, have Donkey Kong stand out, like, as much as he should be, considering everything's all about Mario and, Mario and Luigi, or just Mario in general.
I don't know
And
that
they
I
never
would
got
consider
that.
Donkey Kong part of that, though, because especially the Donkey Kong countries, you got 2 more Donkey Kong countries that came on the Wii U, and Tropical Freeze was put on the Switch.
Oh, jeez, the Wii U.
And those, the system excluded, those were some quality side scrollers.
Yeah,
So I don't know that they'd be
but it's like,
forgotten, or
it's
and
like you
they're
didn't really
definitely
hear
not
from them
bad.
too much, though. Like, they had their shine for, like, maybe, like, a couple weeks, and then it just kind of faded away, and then people kind of forgot about it, I feel like.
I don't know how they did in sales. It did well enough to go from Wii U to Switch, but
Yeah, that's true, too.
for me, the one that sticks out for me is Final Fantasy Tactics. How they made Final Fantasy Tactics, they made 1 or 2 more on the Game Boy, but
Right.
not true sequels to the PS1 game, which makes me really
Right.
sad because I just want some more Tactics. The story was great, the gameplay was awesome. And I'll even at this point take a re-release of the game on PS4 where you can earn trophies, because they haven't put it on a platform where you can earn trophies. So
Right.
I want to spend 200 hours grinding in Final Fantasy Tactics to get that platinum trophy because the game is so good. And I don't know
Oh,
what's
man.
stopping them, but
That's a question in itself. Like what is stopping some of these companies from actually releasing, like, a second game? Or
you
even,
can
like,
only
a better game
assume
in general?
sales. I mean, I thought Tactics
Right.
did well enough, but I mean, maybe it didn't, or maybe they have no motivation to do. It's really hard to say. If they sold $1 billion, they'd instantly make a sequel. But
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, look
And
at
then
Call
they
of
end up
Duty
remaking
every
these
year.
terrible games. Oh God. That game is. It went from being so good to being at the top of the multiplayer shooter chain
Oh.
to pretty much now being like a mid to low tier, like, multiplayer shooter game.
Well,
like,
Modern Warfare comes out this year. We'll see. They're trying to go back to
Yeah.
to old school basics. So
well, that's what they said they were gonna do. Was they said that they were gonna focus more on the campaign, because that's what was so good. The campaigns were fantastic.
and then last year they took it out.
And then last year they just took it out completely. Like, I don't think barely any of us expected, like, when Price died. I don't think any of us expected when, Oh, that plot twist that happened in Modern Warfare 2 where you get shot after retrieving a package. Um, you meet in a snowy biome or desert, and then one of your main homie that was there with you, helping you out through all this to get you through the package, and that like you put trust in, just shoots you and kills you. You weren't ready for that, and it was just like they were so good, and people forget how good they really, really were.
Yeah.
And they blew it up because everybody wants this battle royale shit, and even at that, that's driving the whole shooter game thing away from everything that it stood for.
Indeed. So, did you have any other sequels that you had that you wanted to discuss?
Actually, if you remember, Rockstar released a game in the mid 2000s called Bully. I don't know if you remember that at all.
I never played it, but I know of it.
Yeah, that was a really, really good game in itself, and it was a really. It wasn't as long as like a Red Dead or GTA, but the quality of the game itself had the same quality of a GTA and of a Red Dead, where everything was made to fit the game perfectly, and everything was made to fit the game as it was. And you're just a kid. You're literally just a kid. You don't grow up. You stay a kid.
Right.
And you just walk around, and you just, like GTA and Red Dead, you have, your main quest, but you can do side quests. You can free roam. You can mess with the kids that are free roaming, and you can mess them up at all. And you can drive a moped as your transportation, and it's.
So you want a Bully
you
sequel?
can get chased. Yeah, I would like a Bully sequel. That'd be a good idea. I don't think it'll happen, but that'd be a good sequel. LA Noire, that game needs a sequel.
I don't think it's gonna.
I don't think it'll happen, but it should absolutely get a sequel.
They did re-release it on current gen consoles though, so.
Did they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up playing that on stream then too, probably. Holy shit, that game.
I enjoyed it.
You really felt like you were actually a detective, and you really felt like you were actually, doing stuff. That's one of the only games where I bought DLC. I don't buy DLC for anything, but LA Noire was probably one of the first games that I actually bought DLC for, with the arson cases and all that. And I think the reason why they don't want to make it is because of how long it actually took them to make it.
Right.
Because they had to make the whole city from scratch, and that in itself, I guess, is hard to do.
So keep the same city.
Yeah, you can do that. Keep the whole fucking same city. You don't have to remake like a whole new city, because that would take too long.
Right.
Granted, they can sit there and copy and paste fucking New York and LA with no problem. So, what the hell is this? Huh? What the hell is this? What else would be a game that never got a proper like sequel, or at least was a shit sequel? Dead Island for me was a terrible sequel.
I couldn't get to the first one.
I loved the first game. That's one of the only games I've platinumed. Was Dead Island, excuse me. I 100% of that game, and I don't 100% anything. I'm not a person that likes to 100%.
You got lucky then, because I heard that game was real buggy. Like as far as like
it is
trophies and stuff.
It still is. I just finished that game last week, and it froze on me twice, and it glitched out a couple times on me too. The glitches were pretty funny though. I should have clipped some of those, but those are pretty funny. But the second game, it was rushed. The second game was entirely rushed. It went from being, the first game was 3 acts. No, 4, sorry. The second game was 2. At least it felt like it was 2. It was 3, but it felt like it was 2. The second game had stuff that the first game needed. But the problem was, there were so many issues with the online stuff, and there were so many issues with the story in general, that they rushed everything, and that was not the way to do it. And the second one had all the tools to be the staple for open world zombie world games. They had all the tools for it, and they messed it up. Dying Light did what Dead Island couldn't do in their sequel, and Dying Light took it over, and I think I think they are gonna get a sequel for Dying Light. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, they are. It's coming out. It might be this year or early next year. Dying Light 2
Yeah.
is a thing.
They need to fix the controls in that game first of all. The controls are jank as shit. How are you gonna tell me that R1 is my jump button? How are you gonna tell me how to swing is just R2? Crouch is circle. X is not sprint. X doesn't do anything. Actually, X is jump. No, it's not. X doesn't do anything. They didn't even map a button for X. Your R3 is sprint. And just in general, I switched all the controls in that. I think I even switched it to lefty controls. Because lefty controls were a lot easier than regular controls. And even at that, I don't hold the controller like normal people do. When you guys hold the controller, you guys hold it like this. How I'm holding it right now. Where your thumbs control the joysticks and the face buttons. I don't hold it like this. I hold it like this. Where my index finger controls the face buttons.
What?
And my thumb controls that. Because my hands are so big. If I wanted to, I can hold the controller like this and have my fingers touch. My hands are too big for a controller. And this is comfortable for me for some reason.
Ugh, I don't know how you do that.
So I'll play like this, and then same thing on the other side. My hands will stay like this. But for this side, I have my middle finger and my two middle fingers, and then my index finger controls the face buttons.
That's super weird.
Then I'll go like this. Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who does that.
Yeah. I think that's like the professional way of playing games.
Maybe because that way you're not taking your fingers off the stick, but you can still press the buttons.
Yeah, you can still press the buttons. I even did that with the PS2 controller. And the PS2 controller is a lot smaller than that. I even did that with the PS2 controller. I still have one next to me here. I did this. I even did it when I was younger. Same thing. My hand controlled the face buttons, and my thumb did the joysticks. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember.
Well, hopefully we'll see a lot of those sequels that we want eventually come to fruition. We'll see.
I hope so, man. I would, dude. I would really kill for an LA Noire. That game was fantastic.
I think I mean, they got the money to do it, but at this point,
but they don't want to do it.
It's just the desire at this point. All right, so let's move on to gaming news. So it's been a little bit slow post Comic-Con, post E3, where there hasn't been a lot and stuff.
Yeah.
And when we say gaming news, we mean game, movies, music, whatever stuff we want to talk about. So the big thing that's probably come in the last 2 weeks is Ninja moving from Twitch to Mixer.
Yeah. That shook up the Twitch world for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even now, there's people I know who are either trying Mixer or at least checking out Mixer that weren't before.
Yeah.
So even if they don't get a big shift like they're looking for, they've got more eyes on Mixer now than they have.
Oh yeah.
Probably ever. So the money in their eyes is probably worth it at this point.
It must have some stupid money to.
It's Microsoft. Microsoft owns Mixer.
Oh well, yeah, they got plenty of fucking money then to blow. Holy shit.
So yeah, I read the other day they were called something else, and then Microsoft bought them, and the name that they had before couldn't work internationally, so they changed it to Mixer, and now they are what they are now. Now their problem is because they're Microsoft, it's going to be a little harder to get. You're probably not going to have Mixer native to PS4 or anything like that, and that can hurt them a lot, especially since there's less than 40 million Xboxes in the wild and more than 100 million PlayStations.
Yeah.
But in general, it was an interesting move that I don't think anybody saw coming.
No, that kind of came out of the blue, and me personally, I don't think over time. I don't think it's going to be a huge loss. I don't think people are really freaking out and they're really considering to switch to Mixer because they feel like this is the start of the end for Twitch. It's not, guys. It's one person. Holy crap! Twitch can sign anybody probably that they wanted to if they wanted to, and even at that, we are the people that keep Twitch alive. It's not like we're YouTube where, YouTube got big-headed and completely messed up their whole platform. They had such a solid platform going. They had different personalities. Everybody that was at the top for a good reason. There wasn't companies trying to take it over. There weren't, music people getting on there and trying to take it over. Now, if you look at it, the top 10 YouTubers, only one of them is a um, homegrown created content, and that's Pewds. Everybody else is all these companies and music things. Whereas with Twitch, you can do that, but it's hard to run as a it's hard to run as for a company to run it, because if they don't know anything about Twitch, and if they don't know anything about the demographic in Twitch, because the demographic in Twitch is a lot different than it is for YouTube. YouTube is a lot of kids. On Twitch, it's not like there aren't kids, but there's a lot more adults here. There's a lot more teenagers, a lot more young adults than there is on YouTube, I feel like. And and if they're trying to cater to just kids, not that they're gonna fail, but they're not gonna get as big as what they thought they were, and then they're just gonna up and leave.
Right.
And with Mixer, Microsoft is gonna push for a lot of companies to come and join to promote them some more, which in totality is gonna leave a bad taste in people's mouths, because they're not gonna want to try, because they're gonna get taken over by all these companies, and then they're not even gonna get the viewership that they thought they were gonna get. So they're gonna end up screwing themselves over. Then when they come back to Twitch, they screw themselves, because the people that they were following, like let's say they were averaging like 20 viewers, it's gonna go right back down to like 5 to 10 viewers, because they left for so long. And they're like, people on Twitch, they are gonna feel betrayed, because they went from Twitch to Mixer, and it's not like they were doing bad. They got scared and they left, and they reacted on their fear. And you can't do that. You got to stick to what you know, and you got to stick to what is working. You can't just up and leave and expect a different result. And people are doing that, and it's not a good fucking idea, because they're getting ass fucked and they're getting dry fucked, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, it'll take some time before we really see how it pans out, but
yeah.
All right. Also on this list, we've had very unfortunate things that have happened in the U.S. in the last week. A couple of shootings.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bring this up is because of the president's remarks regarding how video game violence is one of the things to blame. So we don't have to stick on this topic for long. I just wanted to put my voice out there that it's stupid. There are studies that have shown this is not true. I've been playing video games for 25 years, and I'm not shooting up anybody. I don't own guns. I don't like guns. It's just a ridiculous remark to stay away from the topic of gun control. So that's my thoughts.
All it is just an excuse it's another excuse that they want to put out there, because they can't blame themselves for doing this.
You can't blame guns because guns are a big part of their...
Oh yeah, because guns can just walk up on 2 legs and walk out a store. The thing that people don't understand is, like, and I'll just say this real quick, and then we can move on or whatever. But people don't understand that if you completely outlaw guns from any store, it doesn't do anything. They're still gonna get shipped into here, because you still have cartel. And what happened the last time we did that, where we banned alcohol? What happened? The Prohibition era happened. Alcohol was still being sold, and if anything, it was sold at a higher rate because it was banned, because people wanted it. It's that whole thing of where, like, when you're told not to do something, but you do it anyway because you're told not to. It's that same thought process. You ban guns, people can't get it anymore. They'll find a way to get it because of that. And it's an absolutely ridiculous argument.
All right, we will move on to, there was a Pokemon trailer released this week. I don't know how much you keep up with Pokemon, John.
I drop bodies in Apex, not in real life. It's happy.
But they showed off some, they confirmed there's going to be some Galarian forms, like Alola had Alolan forms for some Pokemon. There's going to be a Galarian Weezing, which I don't know if you saw that, John.
No. Does it look nice?
It's a very interesting design. So they've got what looks like top hats on, but it's a smokestack for smoke to come out of, but it looks like a top hat.
Yeah.
And then they have like this sludge around their mouths that make it look like they have facial hair. It's a very interesting design. They're supposed to kind of look like high tier, high society, like Weezing with a top hat. It's interesting design. A lot of people love it though, so I don't hate it. It's an interesting design. And then Zagoon and Liloon, I think. Those are having Galarian forms where they're just dark type and
Okay.
they have black. And it's getting a Galarian evolution, which is getting a lot of attention, Obstagoon, because
Mm.
apparently it looks like Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Right. Gene Simmons posted a tweet or something, like he made a post about it, like thanking Pokemon for their like Kiss inspired
I didn't know.
design or
I
whatever.
didn't know he had made any remarks on it.
Yeah, I guess people really like how you say people really thought it looked like something from Kiss. So they sent it to him probably constantly. So he's getting all these messages probably about like, oh, look at this Pokemon, it looks just like you guys. And he probably looked at it and was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. So then he made a post about it and everything, and it was really cool.
That's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
and then the only other one was the Morpeko or Morpeko. I don't know if they said how it was pronounced, but it's an
Mm.
interesting little hamster Pokemon that
Oh, hamster.
yeah, and when it's in full belly mode, which basically when it has a full belly, it's its normal. I think it's an electric
Mm.
and dark type. But if it gets
Okay.
hungry, it turns into hangry mode, and it turns like black and like evil looking. Uh, and it's the move that it has changes from electric to dark type. So some interesting
Really?
new things, yeah.
Oh.
So
I wonder how that would work then. Like, do you just like purposely make it hungry and you just
nobody
changes,
knows.
or
They don't know if it's like if you use certain moves, maybe it feeds him, and then if you don't use those moves, it gets hungry. Nobody really knows. They haven't said yet.
right? Well, if that's the case, then they're gonna need more than like you're gonna need more than just four moves.
Yeah.
Which, in general, I'm actually surprised that they've stuck to that. I thought that over time
They would
they would go
increase.
from it would increase from just four moves to a Pokemon to more than that. It would seem like for that Pokemon specifically, it would seem logical. You know, like two moves to feed it, two moves to feed it, two moves to attack, and then probably two moves to what was that move called? Like withdrawal, where they like Blastoise has, where you can go into a shell and block
Right.
or protect, and you know, it can protect that, so you can make it hungry faster or something like that, or feed it faster. Um, you know, stuff like that. Like I feel like that would be a good idea for that in general.
Real quick, they also showed two rivals. I don't remember their names right now, and they also showed like the bad guys, which are Team Yell. So
Okay.
they're-
Team Yell,
Yell, yes, Team Yell.
like you're yelling.
Yes, they're apparently like one of the rivals. I think it's Marina or something. Is like looks like kind of like a punk rocker, and they're like her fans.
Okay.
And so I don't know if they're just evil or what's going on there, but that's what they showed.
Oh, it's kind of like the Oh damn it! Like in Red and Fire Red, the bike gang
Kind of like that,
that you
yeah.
find on, yeah, that you find on that the bike road or whatever. I
Mm.
never took that bike road, by the way. I always went around it. I never ever took that.
All right. Real quick, the only other things I have are for anybody who are Friends fans. There's a Lego Central Perk, Central Perk set
Mhm.
that is coming out. I think in September that you can
Mhm.
pre-order now. So any Friends fans, that's a pretty cool set. I'm a friend of fans. I'm not gonna get the set, but if you're a Legos fan and you like Friends, there you go. And then news of Andy Serkis is directing Venom 2.
Oh yeah. I don't know how. I don't know how Venom 2 is gonna turn out. I never saw the first one, just because the Spider-Man 3 Venom left a terrible taste in my mouth. Because that was what the hell was his name that did that?
Uh,
I could see his face. I can hear his annoying
Toby?
ass
No, not
voice.
Toby.
I hated it. No, well, Toby, yes,
Topher
technically.
Grace.
Topher Grace, yeah. I did not like him as Venom in there. His voice pissed me off. Granted, you could tell he got into character. You could tell he was actually into character from the
Hmm.
way he was talking and like the way he was acting. But it was just it was such a mishmash of a whole bunch of random bullshit that they just stuffed into somebody's cornhole, and it was they shit it out that way, the same way it went in.
I enjoy.
And
I enjoyed the new Venom. I like the take on it. However, I think the movie might have been a tad too short. Everything felt rushed to me.
mhm.
Like I won't go into any of the plot for people who care about spoilers, but
Mm.
the symbiotes come down. They have a plan of what to do, and Venom changes his mind on something seemingly
Okay.
on the just the tip of a hat, the flip of a coin. It's switched, and he doesn't want to do it anymore, and it
Mm-hmm.
never felt natural to me. But I do
Right.
like the character, and the fact that they weren't afraid to go R with him, biting off people's heads and stuff.
Right. Oh,
So,
I would say so.
there was something else that you had mentioned for gaming news, or are we? Is that about it?
Uh, did I?
I thought there was. Maybe there wasn't. Okay.
Actually, no. Apex is
Oh, the single player, the solo mode, is coming.
starting to do solo. Yeah, they're gonna try to do a solo mode to see how that works out. Um, I am curious to see how that is gonna work out. Just have solo rounds and stuff. Because I wonder how many people are gonna be in that thing in general. 'Cause that's a lot of people that they're gonna have to fill out for that map, but they don't want to overfill it. Because if they overfill it, then you're just gonna have it's gonna be terrible. And it's like I do wonder if they'll either make the map like a different map for it, which I think they should.
Hmm.
Because in general, I think they should have different maps. But I don't know. I think the thing is, I don't know if there's enough people that are playing Apex, even though there is, to have a second map. If they go if Sony allows them to crossplay, because I'm pretty sure it's almost always Sony that's holding it up. It was the same thing with Fortnite. Sony held up everything about crossplaying. Um, if they do crossplay, which I think would be actually a really good idea for Apex,
Yes.
then they should definitely have a second map in there specifically and make more game modes. But I think they don't want to rush things
No, no.
because I think they want to keep figuring out all these bugs. Which, fucking Apex, fix your goddamn shotguns. They're so terrible now. They were so good back then. Now they're terrible. What the fuck happened to the shotguns? And why all of a sudden are the shells take up? Why are 16 shells one full box? It used to be the same thing as the regular guns. 80 shells filled up a box. Now it's 16. Now you gotta have a gold backpack. You gotta have a purple backpack just to hold enough shotgun ammo that'll last you at least half the match. What the fuck is that shit?
And done with rant.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure that's about it that we have. We're gonna go switch to the last section, which is viewer questions. So, last
Yeah.
chance if anybody has any questions or comments, anything
Shoot.
they want to ask John or myself, feel free to put it
Oh,
in the
yeah.
chat. For anybody who hasn't got to see the whole thing and would like to, this will be edited and should be posted by tomorrow. The link will go out on my Discord and Twitter. John, so can you tell everybody where they can find you again?
Sure. So you can find me here on Twitch at Johnblah99, all lowercase. You can find me on Instagram and there's a mosquito. I lost my train of thought.
Instagram and
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the J Martinez, all lowercase. On Twitter, it does have a 1 at the end of it. The number 1, not the letter 1, just the number 1. That's about it.
okay.
I'm terribly excited for Zombieland 2.
Yes,
Terribly excited.
we talked
for
about that. I think either last week or the week before. But yeah, they dropped the trailer
Yeah.
for it. Very much looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of the first.
Oh,
one.
it looks so. Dude, that trailer looks fantastic. Oh my god, I got so hard watching that trailer. I'm so excited.
All right, so actually starting this week, I wanted to do something new at the end as well. I don't know how many
Oh.
people from John's community are here, regulars. I don't know if you have anybody here, but I wanted to start giving, as a thank you to you guys being on the show or the podcast, to give out a gift sub to your channel to somebody here. So
Oh, okay.
anybody who's here listening, feel free put. Let me see if I can turn this on real quick.
Oh yeah, and speaking of subbing, I was talking about this earlier. I have emotes.
Exclamation point raffle in the chat to join, and we'll raffle off
Oh, yeah.
a gift sub to Johnblah99. He's got some
Yeah.
emotes probably on the way. We'll see if they get approved or not.
Jesus. Oh my god.
So if anybody can hear,
If
go ahead and do that.
if they get approved, I'm gonna shit my pants. So, I have three new emotes that are coming out. I reorganized all my emotes. I have to make another one, and I'm gonna make a logo pretty soon too. But I know. So excuse me. I have a So here's one of mine actually. There's one of mine. That's my tier 2. That's me burping, ironically. Um, so I have a flattered emote where like, like when you get a compliment that you didn't expect and you give that like cheeky smile,
Yeah.
So I have one that's like that. I have one where if I say something I'll land as shit, like like can you can you spread my dick, like can you spread my penis lips or something like that. If I say something like that, but then I have an emote specifically for that. I have a we emote, which is kind of like a hype emote, but I say we a lot. And then I have a orgasm emote that's me getting bukkakied on, which is great.
Yeah, we'll
I
see
called
if
it
that gets
sweating. Sweating. I called it sweating, like somebody's sweating, so I called it that. So we'll see if that actually works or not.
Well, we got.
If it gets passed, I'll be happy as hell.
So we're gonna go ahead. Next time we're on your stream, John, you have a stream going up, and I can get in. I'll do it that way, just because there doesn't seem to be a lot of people either possible or anything for that. So, but that is coming your way as a thank you.
Okay.
For being on the show. So yes, thank you, John, so much for being. Everybody, stick around. We're gonna throw a raid somewhere, but before we do that, I'll doing the outro. So stick around, even though when I say goodbye, we'll be sticking around for the raid. So.
Yeah.
So John, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Always nice to get to know people a little bit better that I didn't know a lot about. Even a little bit when I got to play Apex with you the other day, and the people that we were playing with.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
I wasn't expecting you at all. I mean, obviously you're there like, oh, Tidus.
I was like, I want to play Apex, and John is on it. Oh, it lets me just auto join. Sure, let's try that and see if they don't kick me out.
No, I would never kick you out at all. That'd be terrible if I kicked you out.
But thanks for joining me today. For everybody who came to watch the podcast live, thank you for coming by. It'll go into YouTube soon. YouTube.com/TidusShot. You've got all the episodes for the podcast. Joining me next week, unless something happens, is going to be Cinderella 2014. Then there's going to be a couple weeks off because I have family in town and things of that nature. So it's actually going to be almost a month before my next one after that. But September 14th is going to be King Weeaboo. And then a lot of people are excited for September 28th, where I have Hylian Descent, or Hyrule Gaming Group is the channel he goes on Twitch.
Hell yeah.
He's going to be on, so a lot of people are excited about that one. And then I actually have my first partner streamer who agreed to be on the show.
Really?
I think 2 episodes after that. But I haven't announced her name yet. So.
Oh, you keep me secret?
For now. So thank you everybody for coming by.
He's gonna tell me later.
We're gonna go ahead and switch this over, and don't forget to stick around. All right, everybody, have a good day, and thank you for coming by.